WGN9. I remember WGN back when I lived, in hometown Chicago. Muslim leaders expect 100,000 pro-Palestinian demonstrators for the DNC. Yeah, that's why we're not going anywhere near there, because I don't think it'll be 100,000. Usually when people subscribe, it's about 10%, but 10,000 pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel demonstrators rioting in Chicago is not going to be a fun time. And the interesting thing is they're splitting up the DNC between the United Center and McCormick Place, which are not anywhere near each other. So it's going to be very, very difficult to get back and forth between the meeting places. It's actually really weird they're doing this.
Do they just split up and half of them go one place, half of them go the other?
It's more, McCormick Place is substantially larger. So the main event for the DNC is going to be at the United Center, and then all of the official meetings and everything else will be at McCormick Place.
What happens at McCormick Place normally?
It's like a convention center. I think it's like 400,000 square feet.
Wow.
It's two buildings with a bridge. It's absolutely massive, like 40-foot ceilings or some ridiculous height. Awesome, fun.
I mean, they could. It's not that far from kind of Michigan. Like, they could get that 100K number. I mean, Michigan's not just.
Minneapolis is only a couple hours.
Yeah, it's not that far. Like, I don't think it's
several hours, but
crazy that they actually hit those numbers.
But the issue is, for people who need to travel between McCormick Place and the United Center, good luck with the protests and the barricades and everything they're doing. This is going to be insane.
I think George Soros set up a shuttle system, so just to get them back and forth.
Yeah, but that's
not for the regular people who live in the area.
No, for the protesters.
Oh, good. That's nice of him.
Yeah, he's nice. He's got some pallets of bricks that he's laid out, and
good.
Very Soros of him.
It's quite Soros.
Soros, Uncle George, up to his antics.
I think the protests are going to be interesting because you've seen a couple clips where Kamala has had to respond to protesters who are in her speeches, and she had that I'm talking.
Keep doing this if you want Trump to win.
Right.
Real quick, just take a look at this.
I'm looking. There we go.
Yeah, United Center and McCormick Place are very far away from each other in Chicago. Look at all these blocks. There's going to be protests all over this building, all over here. Everything's going to be locked down. I don't know how people working these events are going to navigate this. I don't know how journalists are going to navigate this.
And it's going right through the University of Chicago. The college is going to be right there too.
Are they saying what events?
UIC.
Which
That's
place?
Yeah, University of Illinois, actually. University of Chicago is in the south.
Well, you know what? I think the students are probably, by that time, a lot of them will be back in school. So you're like, that's
actually now a hub for all of them.
Well, that's a lot of people who will join. It's going to be first week back, and what's a fun thing to do?
Protest.
I can't believe this. I really got to check this. They're really, because it's at the United Center, right?
Yeah.
National Convention.
Yeah.
Have they said what the division of the campuses are? Media's over here and speeches are over here, or whatever.
That I don't know.
Tim said it is more.
Yeah, United Center and McCormick Place. That's insane to me. This is absolutely insane to me. Why they are doing this?
Do they have any events concurrent, or they're just different, different times?
So the RNC, they had the Fiserv Forum, big stadium. That's where they did the main event. Literally right next to it was the other buildings they were using for the
delegates and all that stuff.
For meetings and press and other stuff. And when you walked out of the building, you were in one big secure area in Milwaukee. After you passed the security, you could walk to either building without issue in the security zone.
You didn't have to go through security again.
This is crazy. This is navigating the entire city when they're expecting mass protests and rioting that some people are comparing to 1968. So even if we did decide to go there and do a show in Chicago, I'm like, where would we go? They're so far away. You just got to
pick one of them, and that's the one you pick.
That's crazy. I mean, McCormick Place is massive, absolutely massive. That's probably where all the media and everything's going to be. I wonder if they're separating.
I mean, the United Center is like a blip compared to it.
Dude,
satellite imagery. It looks
McCormick Place is no
size.
joke. McCormick Place is just ridiculously huge.
Wow.
Yeah, it's both buildings. It's like 3 buildings basically.
Yeah.
Huge convention center and a big parking structure. Okay, so you're gonna get out of the car. Or you're going to get out of United Center and you're going to jump in your car and there's going to be protests. Every road's going to be blocked off. They're going to have, in Milwaukee, they had all the roads are closed. You couldn't even get anywhere near the secure zone because they have those big concrete blocks blocking the street because they have multi-layered security. Someone's like, dude, they're going to be throwing Molotovs. They're going to be.
I mean, they're there to
crazy.
disrupt, and I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to disrupt, I guess. Even if they shut off streets specifically for traffic for the event goers, they're just going to go in those streets.
There's just too much. And with UIC being right there, oh, dude, this is going to be crazy.
Downtown Chicago businesses are already boarding up
Yeah.
Yep.
as of 2 hours ago.
Because this weekend is when it kicks off.
Yeah.
Yo, that's wild. Like nothing happened at the RNC. A bunch of wingnuts were outside. There was like a couple hundred people in there holding up signs, just yelling, and it was like I walked right past.
Yeah.
Like literally nothing happened. Chicago is going to be crazy. To be honest, I would be really surprised and it'd be very funny if literally nothing happened.
In Chicago?
Yeah, just nobody cared.
I don't think it's going to.
Considering how big Chicago is, and considering the anger over the installation of Kamala Harris, yeah, I think it's going to get nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw some. I mean, Wood Lyman on Twitter did a lot of good reporting when there were the pro-Palestine protests in D.C. and like the paint and climbing the gates at the White House and all this stuff. Like, you can only imagine now that people have known for a long time that this is like sort of the big. You know,
I mean, also,
I
they're
don't wanna
not
say,
known
like,
for
crescendo, but like this is a big
Yeah.
moment to get attention.
I mean, they're the ones calling Genocide Joe, and again, they're not known for not doing anything. Like their whole thing is they go and fairly disruptive. So.
Yeah. And I've heard like totally normal people be interviewed. They're saying, you know, I'm a Democrat, but I didn't like Joe Biden, and I will only support Kamala Harris if she vows to make sure there's a complete ceasefire with no contingencies, you know, whatever else. And like she hasn't done that, so they have
she's not
no
going
reason.
to.
No, of course she's not going to. But she has no way of deterring them. There's not a false promise that you can offer. Like,
And you can't have the police come in and just crack down on them hard because that won't look good either.
no fire hoses and just spread.
Yeah. I mean, she's in a tough spot on this regardless.
But that's why I think she responded to that protester breaking into a rally with like righteous feminist energy, right?
Sure.
Like, I am speaking. Because that's the only thing she can try to
I think you only get one of
ideologize.
those. You can't just go to
so.
that toolbox every time.
And I
play
thought that was borrowed
woman's-
from her debate.
Yeah.
I'm speaking.
Yeah.
I'm going to start doing that to all of you all the time.
A female consultant said that's going to play really well with women. Do it.
I feel like it doesn't. I'd love to see the numbers and the polls on that because I think some women, sure, but there's got to be enough
Yeah,
women.
no, there's
who
a
are
lot
like,
of chicks who are the,
you're just
the
kind
girl
of annoying.
boss stuff, and they go, yeah.
Well, like
a lot of
the-
yes queening.
The trope is that women say that when they're in the workplace, the men don't listen to what they have to say. And so Kamala Harris saying, I'm speaking, which is funny because in any debate between guys, they just talk over each other.
Yeah.
But the woman has to make sure she stamps her foot. I wonder if that was actually detrimental to her, to be honest. Like, not like there's probably a lot of women who like it, but it's a weird thing to do when Trump just starts talking. Trump will go, excuse me, no, you can't say that because blah, blah, blah. He doesn't say, I'm speaking, and then pause.
I mean, but the pro-Palestine people, even if she ignores them, you're like, what are you going to do? Vote for Donald Trump? Like, what are you going to do? Like, what is the threat here?
I don't know if they're going to vote yet. I honestly don't know if the far leftists that are.
I mean,
I'm not sure
I
if they're gonna get
still
involved.
think if they think they can make a difference and they're forced with that decision, they're like, what are you going to do? Vote for Donald Trump? You're not going to vote for Donald Trump.
I think it's mixed. I think that some will eventually cave and vote whoever the Democrat is, no matter what. But I think there are people where this is your single issue. You're just not going to turn out. And that's actually, I think, what
I suppose that's an odd, but these are pretty politically active people. The thought of them saying, like, we're just going to abstain, and you're like, okay, well, if you abstain, then you might get Donald Trump. So
They don't care. They just don't want to be oppressed. They don't want guys.
And I think there's like
all
the
right.
virtue.
I mean, I don't
I'm
know
just
if
saying.
I don't know if they think it out like that.
No, well, I was thinking
no,
like
you're right. You're right.
Like, you know what I mean? But I'm
Yeah.
like, you're not voting ends up with Donald Trump.
yeah,
Yeah,
or
one
but it's
thought.
the virtue of like I won't vote for someone who has done anything wrong, right? Like people.
But Donald
feel,
Trump will arguably worse.
sure, but
Like, if you ask them, he will be anyways.
maybe, but maybe that's the thing. Like it's like saying I'm not voting for either one of you, and therefore I was not a part in the destruction of what. Like it's
Sure.
not super logical. It's
Yeah.
mostly emotional.
Yeah, they don't operate on logic really, but
No, but. Both of them are bad, and so therefore you have the moral high ground by saying like I wouldn't even support them no matter what.
yeah, I guess if that's their thought. But
hard
I
to-
mean, if I'm Kamala Harris, I'm not giving them too much oxygen because for that reason exactly where I go. Who do you have to vote for?
No
Yeah,
one.
Who are you going to vote for then?
It's like the DeSantis on our side.
Yeah.
Voters. What are you going to do? You going to vote for Kamala? Or you going to vote for Trump?
Exactly.
But I think Harris is.
Dave Smith.
Well,
right,
yeah.
right in.
I think Harris is.
Joe Biden, right
concerned-
in.
Ace Oliver.
I I never hear about him anymore, ever.
The Mises Caucus, like the Libertarian Party was shining. It was like a rocket to the moon, and then they put Chase Oliver in front, and everyone just jumped out.
Man, I moderated the Colorado Libertarian State Convention. And,
How was it?
It was.
Did anybody take their pants off?
No, but it was nutty.
Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe, and we'll see you all there.